Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Superman Man of Tomorrow #1. And as you can see here, this is called a digital first. So with this shelter in place going on, for those of you that don't know, Diamond Distributor is kind of the main publishing hub for all comic books. So every time comic shops order their books from Diamond, Image, Marvel, Dark Horse, what have you, they get distributed through Diamond. Now, again, with what's going on in society at this moment, Diamond has shut down. So right now there has been no new comic books since March. And a lot of people are wondering what's going to go on. So what I really appreciate right now, this breaks my heart it's kind of a double-edged sword. So let's kind of look at it this way. I appreciate fan-wise that DC has been kind of releasing these digital comics, and they're only 99 cents. And they got some big names, like this is Robert Venditti, which I really love his writing. I loved him on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Damaged, and Hawkman. All three of those books were solid. Now, on the flip side to that, with doing digital, local comic shops and other retailers across the U.S. and the world are shut down. So it's great to see that DC is able to keep going on the digital format for now, but brick and mortar stores I'm still concerned for. So take it as you will on that. And enough with that. Let's go ahead and at least jump into a good story. I just kind of wanted to explain what's going on right now in our current culture. Anyway, let's get some escapism. And this was a great story for 99 cents. Oh my god, guys. Now, before I get into explaining this panel, let's talk about who made this book. As I just said, it's Robert Venditti doing the writing. The penciler is Paul Pelletier. Inks are Drew Hennessy. The colors are Adriana Lucas. Here's everyone else associated with the book. And then, of course, Superman was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Now, when you have a comic book and you have their name on the title, they should be the awesome one that they're focusing on, right? Like, no one should really steal the spotlight. Well, check this out, my friends. We get the cover, Superman, boom, right there. And the caption here says, "Whoa, Superman held up the whole tunnel." And then what I love too is I'm glad that they've kind of gone back to classic Superman look. I was not a giant fan of the new 52 look or what they were kind of doing after Rebirth. I'm just like, come on, give him his trunks. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's outdated. But there's just some things that should not be changed. And Superman's uniform is one of them. That's just classic. Sorry. So anyway, yeah, just absolutely gorgeous. And the book sets up, quickly. So, we see what Superman's doing right now in the news. And then we get the foreshadowing of our villain. And because I've been reading Superman for so long, when I saw the color of the energy and what it was doing, I was like, oh yeah, I know who this is. So, Venditti tries to kind of make it menacing, but for the longtime fans, we know who it is. But nonetheless, I always enjoy a good build-up. And then we go over to the Daily Planet. And it's like a regular news day. Clark and Lois and Jimmy, the classic trio right there working in the newsroom. And Lois is going on about this big scoop story that she's working on, and Jimmy's watching televised news, and Lois is like, turn that crap off, it's interrupting me. But Jimmy's like, this is important. And again, building up. And see, we get interaction, kind of establishing who our characters are. And then we get the threat, which causes a blackout. And what I like is this panel, you see Jimmy, Lois, and Clark. And Jimmy's like, why haven't the emergency lights come on? Clark, Ms. Lane, boom, they're gone. And again, I like that the dialogue is quick and snappy. You get the idea from the panels. The art drives the narrative. And I love that, because in a comic book you want to show, don't tell. You want enough, dialogue boxes, or word balloons, and like inner monologue, as I always call it, like the narrator boxes. Just enough, and then you want the story to just shine with the artwork, and that's exactly what we're getting. We don't need bubbles. Just, there's comic books that I've seen, and in current Superman scenes, where you'll get something like this, and the word balloons just take up half of the page. It's mind-boggling. So anyway, all of Metropolis is gone. Like, not gone, but the power's out. That's what I mean by gone. And I just love how Lois says, Clark, go. Because, they know each other. They knew what they were expecting from each other when they got married. And then we get a really cool moment with Perry and Jimmy. And right here is what I really appreciated. She goes, Perry, I need to be on the streets covering the story. This is a chance for print journalism to prove itself. Wi-Fi and the TV networks may be down, but my notepad and pen are ready to go. So I appreciate that, because a lot of people think that, as I say, oh, print journalism's dead. But if something like this happens, we got to go back to analog thinking. And then what I like too is, okay, that's maybe a little heavy there, but Clark takes off, and Lois has his uniform. She goes, at least he didn't ruin his suit this time. Replacing his clothes is wrecking our household budget. I heard that. And then comes Perry and Jimmy, as we just stated. And Lois has to give up the fight and go, throws his clothes because they're just right there. So great stuff. And then again, if the book is called Superman, then Superman needs to be awesome. And look at this amazing panel from Pelletier. I'm sorry, I keep slaughtering the poor guy's name. Pelletier? If I'm saying that wrong, let me know down in the comments. But look at Pelletier's and the art team's just beautiful work here. Friggin', see what I meant? Parasite. Just Superman, boom, being awesome like he is, and knocks out the villain. And we get into a slugfest between these two. And I love this, just, you've bitten off more than you can chew. So in the midst of like this great story building up, there's still moments for corniness like that. And more great artwork. I don't want to get into the splash page. But you notice that something is happening with Parasite. He's a little more on intense than he normally is. Now this is where the book really begins to shine, because Superman's explaining what's going on with Parasite. And now the whole city is kind of in a ruckus because of this blackout. And Jamie says, not even you can help everyone. And I like how Clark says, no, I can't. Now this gets a little wordy here, but again, this is a moment where it's not action, where really he's talking to people and he's trying to inspire them. He goes, I know you're scared, everyone. I can stop Parasite, but I need your help. And so he goes on, says, check on your neighbors. Help them check on their neighbors. Spread the word. If everyone looks after someone, then everyone will be looked after. Remind the world what makes the people of Metropolis who we are. And then we get, I love, this is the panel that really spoke to me. So this elderly lady says, I was with my husband. We got separated. And this guy who looks kind of like, you would think on first appearances, that's again why they said don't judge a book by its cover. So this guy kind of looks like a street thug. He goes, I'll help you find him, ma'am. So again, you start seeing community come together. And this right here, I think the reason this hit me so hard is it gave me like a flashback to Peter J. Tomasi's run on Superman. Oh, there's a lot of great emotional human interest moments in that run, and still one of my most favorite current Superman runs, and this definitely reminds me of it. So I keep wanting to say Paradise, and I think that's just because I'm feeling coffee depraved at the moment. Parasite finds another source of energy. Where? Read the book. But again, another gorgeous slugfest between Superman and Parasite. And it's great fun. beautiful artwork, these moments of human interest. Like Superman at one point says, you weren't always like this. And he goes, I know there's a human named Rudy Jones in you. And he goes, I promise I'll help you find a way to, kick this Parasite powers. And so when he actually has Parasite down, he goes, I promised I'd help a way. I promised I'd find a way to help you. And so everything kind of gets wrapped up to a degree. And what I like is there's a moment with Perry where he's not happy with the story that they wrote. Go ahead and read it. It's a great moment between editor and reporters, and it really shows what news journalism should be doing. And it seems like a happy ending, except you kind of get a moment with Lex Luthor. And he goes, Metropolis will know who's truly the most powerful man in this city. And so I don't want to spoil this book for you guys, but I just want to kind of give you some highlights. And so I want you all to please pick up this comic book and read it in its full entirety. Because I didn't want to give away the whole scope of this story, but just enough for y'all to see where I'm coming from. And I mean, for 99 cents, guys. Now, I would much rather pay 99 cents at my local comic shop so that I can keep local businesses going. But right now, this whole shelter-in-place thing is really kind of throwing a monkey wrench in everything. Especially since this book here, there's no physical medium for it. Now, I will say that if this book gets a physical print, like a physical run, I am all over this. Because after Jurgens and Tomasi were taken off Superman and Action Comics, and they were given to the current writer, let's say, I dropped it in a heartbeat. It was horrible. And, I'm not the only one that echoes that sentiment. So when I saw that Venditti was given a Superman title, you know I'm going to pick this bad boy up. Because it feels like Superman has finally, he's back to form. And what's great, too, is, this to me reminds me of like art mimicking life. Because Venditti has gauged the temperature of society, of what's going on right now. And he put a little bit of what's going on in reality into this book. So if you think about it in its entirety, you got a parasite attacking the city. And then people helping people in a crisis. This felt, it felt organic in the terms of this world. It didn't feel preachy. It didn't feel like it was just blatantly doing any type of satire. Very well done. And that's what I think a lot of writers forget, is instead of just being like, here's this and this is what's going on in the world, take elements, put it into a story, and then use symbols. Parasite. And this one is a little on the nose, but that's okay. That's okay, because I like Parasite. He's one of my favorite villains. And so, yeah, I'm just really excited, and I really hope that once the shelter-in-place lifts, that Venditti's given the green light to start printing this book, because I will definitely buy it. So in the meantime, if you guys have enjoyed this comic book, please make sure to pick up a copy of this and give it a read. That way we can at least support the creative team and show the numbers that this is something we really want. Because if we get enough, hopefully then they'll be given a physical release once everything is said and done. And then also, just to support your local comic shop, guys, if you don't know, a lot of them are doing curbside service, mail orders, and then like with my local comic shop, I paid over the phone, and then one of them actually delivered it to my house. And in the sake for social distancing, they just put the package, they did a really nice job packaging it, and then they just knocked on my door, and then boom, there it was. So if there's any other books that that your shop may have in stock that you need, or action figures, what have you, please make sure to support them, especially in this time. And if you're watching this in the future, go back and check out what happened during 2020. It's nuts right now. But anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this comic book or this review or both, we definitely appreciate it if you take a minute to hit like, share, and subscribe. It helps the club more than you could possibly know, especially since we had to start the channel all over again. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy super bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. You can come to the channel, and we'd love to hear your feedback and have a dialogue with you down in the comments below or in our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links in the description below. So with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.